The brief asked us to explore equitable health and design speculative future worlds and communities, and asked us to speculate on what equitable health might look and feel like as future experiences. Myself, Lisa, Joe, and Jacobs were in the population health biological group. We made stick cards, and I found out from my insights that health and well-being is shaped by environment. UK is expected to experience extreme heat waves by 2035. We also found out there's decline in green spaces. We analyzed our stick cards into themes. We chose the theme multi-species for new health dialogues. From our topic of multi-species spaces for new health dialogues, we developed it further by creating a new topic of rethinking our relationship with nature to benefit multi-species health. This was our first design opportunity scenario. In 10 years' time, the climate crisis has intensified. Floods, heat waves, and rising sea levels have forced government to impose strict limits on high carbon foods and personal energy use. As lowland cities become unavailable, people migrate to higher ground, social attitudes shift, and companies with unsustainable practices face backlash. Intergenerational tension grows as young people hold older generation accountable. Therefore, the need to retake our relationship with nature becomes urgent. In this new future, we wanted to create a new community center in Glasgow, where communities share water, energy, resources, and knowledge efficiently. Inspiration for the opportunity was taken from looking at existing Scottish climate crisis community hubs, such as Niscan and Ayrshire Climate Hub, which both empowers local communities to take action on climate change. Stakeholders included doctors, peat farmers, and teachers. I made personas based on our stakeholders. We named our opportunity the Glencoe Resilience Center, and Maya developed some logos. For our center, we also took inspiration from the Amish community. We created a list of key values that we wanted to link with our opportunity, and these key values were symbiosis, rehabilitation, and community. I contributed with the creation of mood boards. This is our exhibition. Expert input was that it can become a climate refuge settlement, a safe relocation zone for people leaving flooded cities. They liked this opportunity. To start conversation with the experts, I made different personal prompt cards based on our stakeholders. I also made a user journey board and a notice board for our community center. Our original idea was to design a community center in Glencoe, but after our tutorial with Rachel, she explained that creating an entire center would be unrealistic to develop and present by our January exhibition. Because of that feedback, we shifted our project focus to the Scottish Resilience Programme. Our scenario for the Scottish Resilience Programme was that the Scottish Resilience Programme emerged in the early 2030s as a practical response to the growing challenges posed by climate change. As the UK and Europe experience increasingly unpredictable weather patterns, including more frequent and severe coastal and inland flooding, many individuals and families found their homes and communities impacted. The stability that people had long relied upon was shifting. This environmental change led to people seeking new stability after being affected by rising sea levels and flooding. Beyond the immediate practical needs that unprevail brought a profound sense of loss of homes, livelihoods, and cherished culture heritage. This often manifested as a heightened stress and climate anxiety, requiring dedicated support. By recognizing this evolving need, the SRP is a program that provides relief tents as a physical access point and a third space as a centralized location for the migrant community, and providing a place for human connection and community as an essential need for physiological wellness in the migrant population, as well as how mental health aid is administered and measured, information is distributed, and support is provided culturally, emotionally, and socially. We looked at art and design projects relating to migration for inspiration of the SRP program. These inspirations were Emmanuel Sego for Migration Museum and Zatari Refugee Camp. We learned that all two case studies focus on lived reality of people who have been forced to move due to war, crisis, or instability, and this is where we generated our idea of focusing on migrated climate population. And also from our research, I found out that people from China, Pakistan, India, Nigeria will migrate to the UK because of education. We first start off launching our program in Edinburgh Leaf, but we also thought it could be launched anywhere within Scotland. I made this timeline which helped us envision what we thought would happen in 10 years' time regarding migrating due to flooding. I did a case study on Fiji. Study shows that Fiji is losing land, reinforcing the fact that migration will be a thing in 10 years' time, which contrasts with why we've chosen to focus on migrant communities for our final opportunity. Here's a map of Leaf Future Flooding Crisis. Here's our final brand logo. I also helped with the development of the brand. For part 2 of the project, I created a persona based on the stakeholders we had identified. My persona is based on traumatized migrated communities and people who have climate anxiety, as our future word focuses on that. My persona, Jessica, has recently arrived in the UK 2035 because her home was destroyed by floods in Pakistan. Brief asked us to select an aspect of our future word and develop this as a scenario set in 2035. I explored 3 aspects of a future word to explore: integration into new communities, continual access to support, and mental health support. I created scenarios for each so I could compare them and decide which direction to develop further. At the end, after reviewing the scenarios, I chose to focus on the future word aspect of mental health support. These were my material inspiration: canvas fabric and tencel fabric and more. For my mood board, I wanted to go with a calm, relaxing mood. The brief asked us to create multiple what-if future scenarios based on our future word aspects. In my first scenario, Jessica's home is destroyed by floods. She sees the Scottish Resilient Programme poster, scans the QR code, and travels to Scotland. She's welcomed by the SRP staff, and after resting, she enters the Voices of the Flood and records her story and leaves feeling hopeful. From this scenario, I thought, what if I create a private space called the Voices of the Flood, where migrants can share their story to preserve culture and rebuild community identity. This is a Photoshop version of it. This is a model of it. I thought the space could have earphones for people to listen to other people's memories and a recording device where people can record their memories. This is what it means for migrants. Their voice is not forgotten and they gain agency by telling their own story. My second ideation for a future word scenario was that Jessica arrives at the SRP. She's welcomed by staff. She receives a homesick kid and a card that says, "You're not just moving on, you're moving forward." Inside, she uses a journal to imagine and write about her new home. She scans the QR code that links her to housing associations and jobs. Based on that, I thought, what if I design a homesick kit to help survivors of the flood and migrants to imagine a sense of new home? And the homesick kit, there's a seed journal of writing their vision of a new home and a QR tag which helps them find suitable homes and jobs. My third future scenario ideation was that Jessica's home is destroyed by floods. She receives an SRP booklet and taps the NFC tag, which opens an app where she registers, uploads documents, and books her flight. When she arrives, the SRP staff greet her and guide her to the calm corner for mental health support. Inside, she interacts with a glowing light orb that leads her through breathing exercises and asks her how she's feeling. The orb light then prompts her to open her journal. As she writes, it plays relaxing music. She doodles her emotion on the first page, then draws the rhythm of her heartbeat on the second to strengthen her body-mind connection. She leaves the space feeling calmer, carrying her journal with her. Based on that, I designed a private pod named Calm Corner, and inside the Calm Corner, there's an orb light that aids with breathing, guides users through a full emotional recovery cycle: breathe, reflect, listen, rest. Calm Corner also comes with a journal where users can reflect on their emotions. I like this idea because it responds to the physiological and emotional consequences of climate displacement. When the migrants lose their home, traditions, and sense of place, the first thing affected is mental stability and identity, and the Calm Corner helps to calm the mind, which is a great idea. I wasn't the only one who thought so, because on Expert Input Day, the expert also loved the idea of the Calm Corner. They thought that I should develop the Calm Corner more. They thought it was great because it's a great support system for people with climate anxiety, and some of the other experts even said they could buy this. And also, before developing the Calm Corner, I looked at examples of tents and pods for inspirations. To gain inspiration for the Calm Corner, I also did research on the meditation room interiors and the Japanese tea room minimalism. Both provided physiological safety, emotional regulation, and gentle sensory grounding. I thought I should use some of these aspects for my inspiration for the Calm Corner. Because the experts liked the idea of the Calm Corner, I chose to develop it further. Here are the first developments. I started playing with the orb light to see how it could look differently as well. I started experimenting how I can make it foldable and flat pack as well. Started playing around with the shape, experimenting different shapes and form that the Calm Corner can look like, instead of the original triangle shape. During the Calm Corner development, I used what if to explore different possibilities, like what if I use sound to reduce anxiety, and what if there was a stress ball inside the Calm Corner. I used my mood board for inspiration as I wanted to create a calm atmosphere. I thought, what if users match their breath to the light rise and fall? inside the calm corner. I also thought of how I could use scents to create relaxation in the calm corner. My feedback during the second formative peer review was that my tutors, Rachel and Janet, specifically said that my final model didn't really reflect my mood board, so I had to change the color to match my mood board, and I also had to create a final user scenarios of my products. To match my mood board, I changed the color of my final model to a light blue. I made this model from scratch using sewing and gluing. Was lucky enough to already have this material that I use for my final model in the house and some mental component parts that help to structure the form that I wanted. The value of the Calm Corner ideation is that it empowers climate migrant individuals to manage anxiety, restore emotional balance, and build resilience in the face of climate uncertainty. My final user scenario for Jessica's journey to the SRP is that floods destroyed Jessica's home. Receive an SRP booklet and taps the NFC tag in the booklet with her phone. It takes her to an app where she registers, uploads documents, and boards her resettlement flight. She's welcomed by the SRP staff, giving direction to the Calm Corner for mental health support. She enters the Calm Corner. It's a portable sanctuary for emotional reflection and recovery. It's designed to be easily installed within the relief tents. She engages with the glowing light orb that go through breathing exercise with her and other tools to help calm her mind. Light asks her to record one thing she's hopeful for moving forward. After doing so, the light asks her to tap again to hear other people's hopes, which encourages her. The light says to her, now open your journal. As she's writing in her journal, the light plays relaxing music as well. In the first page, she doodles in the motion box. It says, draw the shape of your feeling today. The purpose of this is to help Jessica ground into the space. She draws the rhythm of her heart in the second page. The purpose of this page is to deepen body and mind connection. The journal asks her other questions such as, what feels safe right now? Do you feel safe in here? She finds a seed at the back of her journal with a message about new beginnings that says, you're not just moving on, you're moving forward. She leaves the Calm Corner feeling calmer and peaceful. I designed an NFC booklet from a scenario. I designed the app that Jessica would see after tapping the NFC tag with her phone. I developed the journal by adding a small seed bag behind the journal with a message that says, you're not just moving on, you're moving forward. Users can plant the seeds at the new home. Here's a model of the journal with the seed bag behind it. Here's an exploded view of everything I've made. Here's a Photoshop version of my model. These are the sizes of the full-scale model I made. It will be 30-inch in height, 47 in depth, and 47 in width. For material, the Calm Corner will be made of tencel fabric. Reflection. Looking back, exploring multiple what-if scenarios, Voices of the Flood for cultural storytelling, a home seed kit for imagining new beginning, and the Calm Corner with a seed journal for mental health support helped me test different directions. Comparing them showed that mental health support was the most meaningful because it addresses trauma, identity loss, and belonging in climate migration futures. Although I struggled with timekeeping and wished I had synthesized my research more efficiently, I am proud of the model I built using found materials. The feedback I received helped refine my ideas, and I am satisfied that my final outcome has depth and has demonstrated how population health can be strengthened through preventative, community-based, and emotionally grounded design.